Okay, our next movie is The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, and with this second installment, the trilogy makes a decisive break with the gentle fable of J.R.R. Tolkien and declares itself an action picture. The hobbits are sidelined or held captive, while Aragorn, played by Viggo Mortensen, steps up as the dominant character. It'll be up to him and his friends Legolas the Elf and Gimli the Dwarf to lead the forces of Middle-earth into battle against the arch-enemy Saruman. He warns his ally, King Theoden.
It is an army bred for a single purpose: to destroy the world of men. They will be here by nightfall.
Meanwhile, the hobbits Frodo and Sam wander in circles and are basically onlookers while their friends Pippin and Merry are about to discover the secret of Treebeard and the other ancient talking trees.
You remember the old forest on the borders of Buckland? Folk used to say there was something in the water that made the trees grow tall and come alive.
As before, the movie is a great visionary spectacle with special effects and computer skills creating a convincing, exciting, and even beautiful world.
There will be no dawn for men.
It's the ring.
Frodo! It's taken hold of you.
You have the gift of foresight. Tell me what you have seen.
He is not coming back.
And in the second film, we get to know Gollum, a pathetic and craven little creature that was warped by long possession of the ring. As for the rest of the film, I have a feeling I'm going to be kind of alone in regretting the decision to go for big-scale action instead of trying at least to preserve some of the whimsy of the classic books. The film is certainly a technical masterpiece with a closing battle of amazing visual splendor, and Viggo Mortensen emerges here as a swashbuckling hero with real screen presence. So I like the movie, but I think they kind of misplaced Tolkien somewhere along the way.
Well, although I appreciated the epic visuals of the first Lord of the Rings, I was underwhelmed by the pacing and overwhelmed by the sheer number of characters. But I have to admit that the very thorough nature of that setup made it easy for me to rejoin the story in part 2 and get really involved in the fates of the main characters. My favorite plot thread involves Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli, who are kind of like a mismatched Three Musketeers.
Come on, Gimli!
3 days a night's pursuit. No food, no rest.
And Sir Ian McKellen is back as the immortal Gandalf, but he's become a more ethereal being. Gandalf the Grey is now Gandalf the White.
Ill news, ill guessed.
Be silent. Keep your forked tongue behind your teeth. I have not passed through fire and death to bandy crooked words with a witless worm.
There's even time for new romance in The Two Towers, as the elf Arwen, played by Liv Tyler, comes to realize that her love with the human Aragorn might never flourish. He is drawn to the feisty Eowyn.
The women of this country learned long ago. Those without swords can still die upon them. I fear neither death nor pain.
What do you fear, my lady?
But even with the sprinkles of romance and light humor, The Two Towers does have an overall tone that's darker and more violent than the first leg of the trilogy. The action sequences are on a par with such historic spectacles as Ben-Hur and Gladiator, and the special effects are vastly superior to those two films. This film doesn't change my review of the original, but it does have me eagerly looking forward to the final installment. I liked it a lot.
So you're finally thumbs up for
Absolutely.
LOTR. Okay.
Absolutely.
You know, I looked at the first film the night before going to see this one.
I did too.
Yeah. And I'm beginning to realize that what we're dealing with here is a considerable epic in movie history, and it really does work in the long scale. I'm looking forward to the third part too. What I want to know is, would it have been possible to be true to the spirit of Tolkien and still make movies of this cost and length and spectacle, or was it necessary to really tilt toward violence and action in order to get the audience?
Well, there are lots of people out there who know more about Tolkien than I do, but I do believe that it is true to the spirit. The characters are true to the first film, and yes, it's darker, it's more violent. This is one of the more violent PG-13 movies I've ever seen. I think they're this close to getting an R rating, which they were never going to do in a huge, huge epic like this.
Well, you know, the last great battle scene, which lasts at least half an hour, and which was great on the screen, and I loved looking at it, really blows up a very small part of the book, and meanwhile the hobbits are put on the shelf altogether.
I understand what you're saying. I think probably in the final chapter we'll see more of the friendship, and you know, the characters in this movie, they're all apart. There are 3 different storylines going on here, and you'll see them come together. And when you get the DVD, you get even more material.